Hey guys, I just wanted to kind of talk about this book that I've been reading off and on. And I was watching some videos, and I am someone that is trying to overcome a lot of my fears. And this this particular saint, Santa Muerte, has been really creeping in and out of my, I would say, signs and symbols for, I would say, actually a good 6 months or so. And I was interested in just learning. Wasn't anything particular that I was trying to learn. It was just the mystery of it. And, if I was being called to get to know her, what particular book, what particular content should I, absorb? And I was getting a lot of recommendations, and I was being guided to this particular book. And so I went to Barnes and Noble, and my husband found it. And I didn't tell him at all that I was looking for this book. And so I got it, and I have read, I would say, almost a half of it. And what I really like about this is it actually goes into a lot of history. And at first I was like, oh, I don't really need to know the history, but I liked how it kind of corresponded with a lot of different things that I've been, I don't even want to say witnessing, but I've been getting signs on for a while, and how a lot of this history has really been in and out of my life. And reading on about her, it goes as history does, and as much as chronological order as possible. And I was really getting interested in the history of how this saint became who she is, and why there's such a negative connotation with her. And it made me understand why, and it was really fascinating to me. And the one thing that I really just absolutely loved about this book is it's something that I feel like I can, even if I'm not a practicing, how am I trying to say this, guys? I get so excited that I can't even find my words. Even if I'm not a practicing devotee to Santa Muerte, I still can find value in who she is, where she's came from, who is devotees to her, and why it's so important. So it's about understanding and bowing your head to a mutual agreement, agree to disagree sort of thing. And that's what I love about history. That's what I love about theology, especially grounded in history. And this book just really opened my eyes, and I want to finish it and do a full book review, but just going through the first 100 pages, I can tell you that it's definitely worth the buy. Even if you're someone that does not want to particularly work with her, you just want to be educated and not give into the stereotypes as they may be associated with other people. Definitely something that you would want to have in your library, of not only if you're someone that is into witchcraft, not only if you're not into someone that just isn't into saints, someone that really loves theology, someone that really loves history and getting to know different sides of the story, someone that wants to stimulate their mind, and someone that wants to understand that love and faith runs deep. And I'm gonna start tearing up, but this is the reason why I study theology, and I've studied it for so long, is because I came from a Lutheran background, and as much as I cherish that background, I wanted to have a deeper love for those around me, and I wanted to understand Jesus, and I wanted to understand why there is so many different religions, and why love is just love, and how it can it was the passion, the dedication, the unbreakable bond that some people have with their faith, and that they have with deity and with those around them in their culture. And even if there's someone that has been at a place where they have met a dead end, that they can, scrape up the energy to find a faith that propels them forward no matter the circumstances that they've been through. So this is why I've been drawn to this path of research and theology and witchcraft, and a self devotee of spirituality, and so this book has really brought me to that conclusion of why I do what I do. It's not for anything to hold above anyone's head. It's merely a token of appreciation and gratitude. And it's a token of sincerity, and why spirituality and faith and love is so intertwined, and how once we realize that, we'll be less to turn other people away and fight over things that, and so I just really liked how it went into the Aztecs and the Spanish, the pre-Spanish of Mexico. It talks about, different depictions of her, and how people, it's funny how some people communicate with her, and it made me laugh, but it also made me a little bit sad, because reading this book, I never came to this conclusion, or even have read this in certain aspects of any religion before, where, she is someone that carries a scythe. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a tool, kind of like the Grim Reaper. And so when she's not answering your call, you can punish her by taking it from her and hiding it, or taking it away from her hand. And as I can see that some people would do that, I don't necessarily think I'm there at my path right now, which I think it's a tool that she carries for an actual need and want. It's something that is, I would say, as a child, you take away, you're punishing a child. Because it's, to me, she, as the archetype, if we're going into archetypes and Jungian theory and, psychology, which I have a background in, it's she as a saint, as a archetype, as a precious cycle of life and death. I don't think it's something I would personally go into taking away her scythe or anything, because to me that's playing with I know it's a weird thought, and I never thought I'd thought this way before, but now talking to you guys about it, it's more like, I don't know if I want to take that road. I don't want to I want to laugh, but I don't any more than I just did. But it's like, I don't want to speed up the inevitable, and so that's what I kind of took away from that, if I was going to interpretate it for my own book of shadows. But I really like how it goes into different color correspondences, the different, reasons, it goes into different seasons. It properly goes into, the history and the depictions of her as time went on, and, how she's in this new world. It even talks about, Jesus in here too, which is interesting, and seeking the divine feminine. I mean, it's just a wealth of knowledge. Even, like I said, even if you're not someone that wants to devote to Santa Muerte, it's just something that you can respect her, from a distance, and understand why people are devoted to her, because she's very non-judgmental. She understands. She has that, you know, she has that mortality to her, and people fear that inevitable, as we all do in certain times of our life. The last part that I've read so far is preparing rituals, space, and tools, and I really liked how they went into how it's so important to particularly take your time to sanctify space for her and honor. So it's, it kind of reminds me, going back to my Lutheran with a little bit of Catholic background, because it's kind of similar in that way. It's dedication, it's respect, and so you want to make sure that everything's top notch, and even if you can't afford top notch, your intention is what matters. And then it goes into the different washes, the different colors of candles, the way you can anoint them, and they give you depictions of what altars look like. And I just really like the book, and I want to finish reading it and do the second part of the book review for you guys if you're interested. I'm kind of rambling here, but overall I would say it's very in-depth on how to. I wouldn't say that you would be absolutely not, would not be an expert after reading this book, but what I would say is that you would be able to start to understand her better, and to try to communicate with her respectfully and see if it's a option for you, and to invite her in your life, whether it be temporary or permanently. But again, I would say don't stop your research there. I do feel like reading this book, this saint is very, I would say, is very powerful, but also is very likable in a way, and is very sacred. And so it's something that, to me, it's a commitment to, in a way, when you're wanting to work with a deity, a saint, any spirit, you want to not take it with a grain of salt. You really want to research. You really want to almost date, in a way, the energies to see if it mingles with you well. So I would definitely suggest working with this book first, and follow your own intuition after that. And definitely worth the money. I don't think it was that much. It might have been $16, $17, but it was really worth it. And again, it's the defining thing here is death welcomes everyone. That is so true, and it kind of goes into that, in the first 100 pages. And then there's so many other things you could work with. It also talks about rosaries, and I could see in the next couple pages it talks about the rosary and more about Jesus Christ, and it's just so interesting. I really like this book, and I really want to finish it, and I really want to come back on and talk more about it. And I'm definitely going to be taking knowledge and putting it in my book of shadows and referencing back. This is going to be something I don't give away, even though I don't personally work with Santa Murte at this time. It's something that I want to hold on to dearly, because I do feel like it's something I needed to overcome at this certain time in my life. And again, I'm so excited, guys, and I really hope you guys check this book out. If you'd like me to do book reviews, just let me know. I have read some digital books recently, and of course I can't show them like I am right now with this book, but I can talk about them with with me just talking about them and kind of going over the notes that I kind of highlighted and what I want to put into my book of remembrance when it comes to my spiritual development and research. But Thank you guys for listening to me ramble. I really hope that you share your books that you're currently reading. Any recommendations on anything? I really like to stick to theology, different religions. I do like paranormal books, and whether it be fiction or nonfiction, but I really like to stick to these type of books, especially anything that is spiritual. And Luminel, I think Luminel, I can't say it right. That's the company that I always go to because it's got like the mind, body, spirit, and the, I think, metaphysical books. Those are really nice, so I really like reading those. So I hope to talk to you guys soon. I hope that you guys like the new content I'm placing out into this channel, and that you guys keep sending suggestions if you have any. Blessed be.